my eyes have to be deceiving me because what I just read, I mean, it just has my head in a tailspin. Bleacher Report's Zach Buckley suggested a trade swap between the Atlanta Hawks and a polarizing game changer. And in my opinion, no, not in my opinion, as a Hawk fan, I feel as though I am entitled to say that there is no way that the Atlanta Hawks would ever go through with this, especially given how the Atlanta Hawks are set up as a team right now going forward. I cannot see this happening. I do not see this happening, but it is my job to let you all know what is going on and what the reports are. So before we get into any of that, let's go ahead and christen the show. What's going on, everybody? My name is Walter Pollard. This is Atlanta Hawks Digest, and welcome, everybody. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing to our content. Myself and Chris Tipmore, we definitely thank you guys. Continue to hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Continue to send this to your friends and family. Continue to send this to everybody that is a Hawk fan. You know, I'm really excited for the conclusion of this season, going into the play-in. We'll definitely talk about all of that. We'll definitely get into, you know, this crazy trade rumor that, in my opinion, just doesn't make any sense. And as a Hawk fan, I feel as though I am entitled to say that there is no way that the Atlanta Hawks would ever go through with this. But before I get into all of that,
that's the rookie of the year. I'm standing next to him. I mean, that's all I can say right now.
let's go ahead and give a major shout out to Zaccharie Risacher. Happy birthday, Zach Risacher. But Buddy turns 20 years old today, man. 20 years ago, what was going on? I mean, what was going on in your world, per se? Because I'm just being completely honest. Like, that is 20 years ago was a very long time, first of all. Okay, 20 years ago, I was 16 years old, young kid in high school, you know, trying to figure things out in life and all that other jazz. So that's one thing. Another thing that you kind of got to think about, who was the winner of the NBA Finals that year? Yeah, it was the San Antonio Spurs. They beat the Detroit Pistons 4-3. So that was pretty interesting. Went to 7 games. That's pretty good. Mike Woodson was the head coach for the Atlanta Hawks. And not to mention, the Hawks drafted Josh Childress and future NBA dunk champion Josh Smith in the first round that year. Josh Childress, he was drafted number 6 with a really big afro. Josh Smith was drafted number 17 in the first round that year, as well as gasoline was $1.88. Now, I know that might sound like, oh, that's nothing, you know, but listen. Gas was a lot cheaper in the 90s, okay? Like in the late 90s and early 2000s. And then I think around 2004, 2005, when things started to get icky and the politics and all that jazz, and, you know, the prices went up. So major shouts out to Zaccharie Risacher, man. Happy birthday to that young man. Really happy to see this guy go. And hopefully he can get the rookie of the year vote. In my vote, I feel as though he is well deserving of that. I think he's definitely done a good job, and I see him winning it. Just being completely honest, I feel like he's going to win that. But let's go ahead and just jump right into it, man. 4 games left in the season. And let's go ahead and break this down. 4 games left. 3 games, of course, are going to be on the road for the Atlanta Hawks. 2 games are going to be versus the Orlando Magic. 1 of those games are going to be back here at home to close out the season. So it will behoove the Atlanta Hawks to close the season out on a positive note, winning the Southern Division in the Eastern Conference. I know you guys don't necessarily pay attention to the fact that there are divisions or whatnot. There's 3 divisions per conference. The Atlanta Hawks are in the Southeastern Division, or the Southern Division or whatnot. That's with the Orlando Magic. That's with the Miami Heat, the Charlotte Hornets. I think I'm missing one more. If you guys remember, just hit me with it. But basically, the only 2 teams that are competing for the top spot in the Southeastern Division or Southern Division is the Atlanta Hawks and the Orlando Magic. They have a game coming up tonight. I'll definitely get into that because it's a big deal right now. The Atlanta Hawks, they have fallen out of contention for the number 6 seed. So that is something that, in my opinion, it just... It doesn't sit right with me. There was a clear opportunity for the Atlanta Hawks to take it and get to the number 6 seed and avoid the play-in tournament, or as some have called it, the Atlanta Hawks Invitational. But there was a chance that the Hawks could have avoided all of that, but instead they have lost about five of their last 10 games. Things haven't necessarily worked out like they wanted to. Losses to teams that should have been beat, they should have single-handedly beaten, but unfortunately they would fall to. And again, that's really the makeup of the entire season, unfortunately. You know, that's the makeup of how the season has been for the Atlanta Hawks. Has it been good in a sense? I want to say yes and no. Again, you've had points where the Atlanta Hawks have played up to their competition, beating really, really big and good teams, either at home or away, and then losing to teams that you definitely should have beaten, teams that have multiple stars that are out or sitting out for that night. Again, the Atlanta Hawks have had opportunities to get the number 6 seed, but unfortunately, things just didn't go our way. So let's talk about Trae Young's future, right? Again, yes, we know it's 4 games left in the season, all that other jazz. We're still competing for the play-in tournament and possibly getting into the playoffs. So let's go ahead and get that out the way. But we definitely have to talk about Trae Young's future. Okay, Trae Young has 2 years left on his current contract, going all the way until, I think, 26, 27. He has a player option. He has a $48 million player option for the 26-27 season and a possible super max extension. Now, the four-time All-Star, he is eligible for a $229 million extension in the offseason. Should the Atlanta Hawks, extend this guy? Let's not wait for the player option to kick in. Let's not wait for him to exercise that player option. If the Atlanta Hawks, in my opinion, were smart, they would go ahead and lock Trae Young in. As the team is situated right now, Zaccharie Risacher is a young budding superstar, just turned 20. Dyson Daniels, not that long ago, just turned 21. There's a lot of young talent on this team. And then we can talk about some of the veterans. You got Caris LeVert that definitely would like to stay with the Atlanta Hawks going forward. You got Onyeka Okongwu, who has been here since 2001, since the Atlanta Hawks crashed the Eastern Conference Finals. So you have a lot of the good talent. Jalen Johnson, who's definitely going to return from the shoulder injury next year. Kobe Buffkin, who is expected to return next year. There is a lot of young talent. Listen, there are college teams that are older, than the Atlanta Hawks. So there is a good young core centered around Trae Young, and I do feel as though Trae would want to stick around with the Atlanta Hawks. I've said it before. I feel as though this is the right team constructed for Trae Young. I've even gone as far as giving Landry Fields his flowers and explained that, he has done the best that he could to, set this team up for Trae Young and put them in the right trajectory towards at least a championship within the near future. And we've seen that they have the capabilities of doing it. Let's not forget, these guys have gone as far as Las Vegas during the play-in tournament. So the Atlanta Hawks, they know that they can do it. They know that they have the ability and the right guys to do so. So let's go ahead and get into this trade proposal, if you will, right? Trade rumor, trade proposal. It just doesn't make sense to me. It just, being completely honest, it doesn't make sense to me. But let's go with this. All right. Trae Young, 4-time All-Star. Zach Buckley, he suggested that the Atlanta Hawks should trade Trae Young for Ja Morant. Now, again, there is no way that the Atlanta Hawks would go for this trade. And no, not because of the hand gestures that, Ja Morant does or whatnot, or all the things the antics that you normally see Ja Morant, involved in. That's not my point that I'm pointing out. But again, I've shown you how the Atlanta Hawks are constructed currently. It just doesn't sit well with me that the Atlanta Hawks would throw all of that away to bring in Ja Morant, who is, yes, a superstar in his own right. Yes, he is on a team that is in the playoffs. But I feel as though the not Minnesota Grizzlies, but the Memphis Grizzlies, I feel as though, again, this team is constructed for Ja Morant. There are players literally set on that team for Ja Morant. I believe they drafted Zach Edey to assist with Ja Morant and what they have going on. They have Jaren Jackson, who is also up for Defensive Player of the Year along with Dyson Daniels. I feel as though those guys and that team is constructed for Ja Morant. It would not make sense, in my honest opinion, and as a Hawk fan, it would not make sense for the Atlanta Hawks to go after Ja Morant. Now, and again, if the Atlanta Hawks were to go after a superstar that can go along with the core that we already have, in my opinion, I feel as though they should go for someone that is a bit older, someone that has been a veteran. Again, if we're talking about superstars, someone that is an older veteran that has been in the league before, not someone that is young, that is impressionable. And again, let's not be funny about this. Atlanta is a very, very popular city in these United States, very popular here in the Southeast. And also in the African-American culture, I just want to point out that there are some distractions here in this city. And I want to say this with caution. I do feel as though we don't want to exercise or put any more distractions onto any other player. I don't feel as though Ja Morant would fit perfectly here in Atlanta, just being completely honest, as well as with the team that will be surrounding him. Again, he has big men, okay? Ja Morant has big men. Trae Young definitely would need another big man to go along with Onyeka Okongwu, somebody that can complement him. I believe that Mo Gay has definitely stepped up as he's been acclimated to the NBA coming from the G League. So just in my honest opinion, I feel as though Landry Fields has definitely built this team up. He has set Trae Young up for success should he stick with the Atlanta Hawks. Now, again, it's a two-way street. If the Atlanta Hawks, if they're serious about keeping Trae Young, retaining him, go ahead and hit him with the Supermax. Go ahead and give him the money. Make sure that he is here in Atlanta, but let's not stop there. Let's ensure that the Atlanta Hawks could possibly sign a superstar big that goes along with Trae Young that could possibly see these guys in the Eastern Conference again. Let's not forget, we've heard that Giannis Antetokounmpo wants out of Milwaukee. I mean, if that's not an incentive for the Atlanta Hawks to go after that guy, I don't know what is. But all that can be said is we have to wait until the end of this season. We have to wait until, after things, settle down or whatnot. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. Tonight's matchup versus the Orlando Magic. Tonight's matchup versus the Orlando Magic, it's something that I've been waiting for, just being completely honest. The Atlanta Hawks and the Magic have consistently done this back and forth, for 7 or 8 or 7 or 8 or 7 or 8. And again, at one point, we had the opportunity to press for the number 6 position, but we went on a crazy 3-4 game losing skid and just took the Atlanta Hawks out of contention of the playoffs altogether. And now they're stuck in the play-in. So right now the Hawks are sitting at 37-41. Magic's, they're sitting at 38-40. Magic's number 7, Hawks number 8. So this is a really big game. This is away. This starts a 3-game away a 3-game road trip for the Hawks, ending it back at home versus the Orlando Magic. So the Atlanta Hawks right now, they definitely want to get out of this slump, if you will. Yes, they did win their last game versus the Jazz, which was expected. Thankfully, they did do that. But again, they're 5-5 in their last 10 games, averaging about 124 per game. And they're allowing their opponents about 120 per game as well. So these Atlanta Hawks, they have to find a way to win the games that they're supposed to. Going up against the Magic, again, it's going to be a tough one. These teams know each other. They're literally right there neck and neck as far as just competition. They are really good. They have Pablo Banchero, or if I'm saying it right, they have Pablo, they have Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. They have the guys that they need in order to beat the Hawks, but the Hawks, they have to be on their game I know that they are a high volume shooting team. They definitely like to shoot the three. So if the Atlanta Hawks can definitely knock down the 3-point ball, definitely hit the shots that they need to early, let's not have a slow start. If they can get those things done, they could possibly be seeing themselves with a win and a leg up on the division, and hopefully they can move into the number 7 spot going into the play-in tournament. With all that being said, my name is Walter Pollard. This is Atlanta Hawks Digest. You already know what I'm about to do, guys. I'm signing out. Peace.